You're nothing but street garbage. And you never will be. She said it loud enough for the entire table to hear. 20 guests, crystal glasses, silk napkins, and my boyfriend's mother smiling like she'd just complimented the wine. The room went silent. Daniel, my boyfriend, stared at his plate like it held the secrets of the universe. His father coughed. His aunt looked away. And Catherine, his mother, took a sip of champagne and waited. What would you have done? I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't storm out. I smiled. Because I had something she didn't. Proof. Before we get into that, drop your country and what time it is where you are. I want to know who's still awake for this one. And if you're new here, hit that like button. Trust me, you'll want to stay. Let me rewind and show you how I got here. I grew up in a neighborhood where gunshots were the neighborhood alarm clock. My mom worked 2 jobs. Diner waitress by day, hotel cleaning crew at night. We lived in a 1-bedroom walk-up with bars on the windows and mold in the corners. But my mom had one rule. Keep your receipts. Keep your records. Let your work speak. So I did. I studied under flickering kitchen lights. I applied for every scholarship I could find. And when the acceptance letter came from MIT, I cried for 3 days. Full ride, summa cum laude. Degree in finance. By 25, I was a senior analyst at Whitmore Capital, one of the top investment firms in the state. I managed a $200 million portfolio. I didn't talk about it much. I let the work speak. That's how I met Daniel. Charity gala. Black tie event. He walked up with a kind smile and terrible jokes. We talked for hours. He didn't ask where I went to school or what my parents did. He just saw me. 6 months later, he wanted me to meet his family. Catherine answered the door. Diamonds on her fingers, pearls at her throat, ice in her eyes. So you're the girl. She shook my hand like she was touching something dirty. The questions came fast. Where did you say your family is from? What do your people do? Your people. I knew right then. She was the type who believed your last name was your worth. I was about to teach her otherwise. By Thanksgiving, the mask started to slip. By Christmas, it shattered. 2 weeks before Christmas, Catherine called. Let's have lunch. Just us girls. We met at Le Bernardin, white tablecloths, waiters in jackets. She ordered for both of us without asking. Then she slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a check. $50,000. What is this? A gift. For your future. I stared at her. All you have to do is walk away from Daniel. Clean break, no drama. Everyone wins. I pushed the check back. I'm not for sale. Her smile disappeared. Let me be clear. You are an embarrassment to this family. A project. A phase. Daniel deserves someone from his world, not some girl pretending to be something she's not. I stayed calm. I love your son. And he loves me. She leaned in. Love? She laughed. Sweetheart, I have lawyers. I have connections. I have a reputation that opens doors you couldn't even find. And you? You have nothing. I pulled out my phone, took a photo of the check, the amount, her name on the signature line. Then I slid it back. Keep it. You'll need it more than I will. Her face went red. You have until Christmas. Make the right choice, or I will make it for you. I walked out. But I saved that photo. Because my mom didn't raise a fool, I told Daniel everything. He was upset, but not at her. She's always been like this. Just get through Christmas. Please, don't make waves. Don't make waves. I felt the ground shift under me. Christmas dinner was worse than I imagined. The house looked like a museum. Oil portraits, marble floors, everything designed to make you feel small. Catherine seated me at the far end, away from Daniel, next to his uncle who kept asking if I'd ever been to Europe. Then the comments started. Oh, that coat is darling. Vintage, right? Thrift store? Laughter around the table. And remind me, dear, where did you say you grew up? Was it near the old industrial district? More laughter. Daniel said nothing. She kept going. Appetizers, entrees, dessert, every course, another cut. Then came the kill shot. You know, Daniel, I was just thinking. You can take the girl out of the streets, but... She paused, smiled. Well, you're nothing but street garbage. And you never will be. Silence. Clinking ice in glasses. Somebody coughed. Daniel stared at his plate. I looked around that table. At the pity. At the contempt. And I thought about walking out. I thought I'd lost. Then I remembered my mom's voice. Let them talk. Then show your work. I stood up. Every head turned. Catherine, thank you for dinner. Before I go, I want to clear something up. She looked amused. I don't usually talk about my work, but I think tonight calls for it. I pulled out my phone. Opened LinkedIn. I'm a senior analyst at Whitmore Capital. Maybe you've heard of it. I passed my phone to the woman sitting next to Catherine. She squinted at the screen. Then she read aloud. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Bachelor of Science, summa cum laude, Chartered Financial Analyst. Her voice trailed off. Senior Portfolio Manager, 200 million in assets under management. The table went quiet in a different way. Catherine's jaw tightened. I kept my voice calm. I manage more money before breakfast than most people see in a lifetime. I don't talk about it because my mother raised me to let my work speak for itself. I took my phone back. I just wanted to make sure we were all clear on who I am. Catherine's face was stone. Daniel finally looked up. I grabbed my coat. Merry Christmas. I walked out into the cold. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Catherine wasn't done, and neither was I. 3 days later, my boss called me into his office. We got a complaint. Anonymous tip to compliance. My stomach dropped. What kind of complaint? Insider trading. Conflict of interest. Alleged falsified credentials. I felt the room tilt. That's insane. I know, but we have to investigate. It's procedure. He looked genuinely sorry. Take a leave, paid. We'll clear this up fast. I walked out in a daze. 2 hours later, Daniel called. My mom says you lied about your degree. That you're using me. Daniel, you know that's not true. I don't know what to believe anymore. I need space. A break. He hung up. That night, I saw the screenshots. Someone was circulating them in Catherine's social circle. Fake LinkedIn. Photoshopped credentials. A whole fabricated story. They were calling me a con artist. My career, my relationship, both on the line. Catherine wanted to bury me. She had no idea what she'd just started. Because while she was spreading rumors, I was pulling records. Bank statements. Communication logs. Caller ID from the compliance tip line. Every move leaves a trail. And I'm very good at following trails. The compliance review was in 72 hours. I had work to do. I walked into the compliance office with a leather binder and my attorney. The compliance officer looked surprised. Ms. Johnson, you didn't need to bring a lawyer. I wanted everything on record. I opened the binder. Tab 1, MIT transcripts. Official seal. Registrar signature. Tab 2, CFA certificate. ID number verified by the CFA Institute. Tab 3, my offer letter from Whitmore. Signed by the CEO. The officer nodded slowly. This all checks out, but the complaint alleged... I know what it alleged. I pulled out my phone. This is a photo I took 2 weeks ago. I showed them the picture. The $50,000 check. Catherine's signature. Metadata visible. Date, time, location. She tried to bribe me to leave her son. I refused. My attorney slid another document across the desk. And this is the phone trace from your tip line. The call came from this number. I showed them Catherine's contact card. The officer's face went pale. She filed a false ethics complaint because I wouldn't take her money. My attorney leaned forward. Filing a knowingly false complaint is defamation. We're considering legal action. I held up a hand. I just want the truth on record. That's all. The officer closed the file. You're cleared. Effective immediately. And we're very sorry. Whitmore offered me a promotion the next day, but I wasn't finished. I needed to know why Catherine was so desperate. I hired a private researcher. Everything legal. Public records only. The report came back in 48 hours, and suddenly it all made sense. Catherine's family money? Gone. Her husband's estate was leveraged to the breaking point. 2 mortgages, overdue property taxes, credit card judgments. They were 3 payments away from losing the house. But that wasn't the worst part. Daniel's grandmother had left him a trust. A big one. $2.4 million. He'd inherit it when he turned 30. Next year. But there was a clause. A stupid old-fashioned clause his grandmother wrote in before she died. Beneficiary's future spouse subject to approval of surviving parent. Catherine had veto power, and she'd already picked someone. Eleanor Rothman, daughter of Catherine's oldest friend. Old money. Connected family. A merger marriage. Catherine had been introducing them for 6 months. I wasn't just a threat to her image. I was a threat to her survival. She needed Daniel to marry Eleanor. She needed access to that trust. And I was in the way. It was never about class. It was about cash. I sat with that report for a long time. Then I made 3 calls. Now I knew exactly what to do. First call. My attorney. Draft a cease and desist. Defamation. Use the ethics complaint as evidence. Send it certified mail. Second call. Daniel's trust attorney. Turns out his grandmother had updated the trust 6 months before she died. A codicil Catherine never saw. It named Whitmore Capital as co-trustee, my firm, which meant I had legal standing to review the approval clause. The attorney was very interested in my complaint. Third call. A commercial real estate broker I knew. Find out who holds the mortgage on this address. He called back in an hour. It's a small bank. They've been trying to sell the note for months. Nobody's buying. What would it take? $320,000. All cash. I'd just gotten my promotion. And my bonus. $80,000. I had savings. I had investments. And I had an idea. I formed a shell LLC. Totally legal. Purchased the note through a broker. Catherine's mortgage was now mine. I didn't want revenge. I wanted leverage. And I wanted the truth to come out. I picked up my phone, and I called Catherine. Let's have lunch. Just us girls. Same restaurant, same table. Catherine walked in like she owned the place. Then she saw my attorney sitting next to me. Her smile faltered. What is this? Sit down, Catherine. She sat. I slid the first document across the table. Remember this? The photo of her $50,000 check. You tried to bribe me. I have the photo, the metadata, the location stamp. She waved a hand. That was a gift. It was a bribe. And we both know it. Second document. This is the ethics complaint you filed with my employer. Anonymous, you thought. I slid the phone trace next to it. It came from your cell. We have the records. Her face went white. You filed a knowingly false complaint to destroy my career. That's defamation. Third document. These are public records. Your debts, your liens, your overdue taxes. I watched her hands start to shake. You're broke, Catherine. You've been broke for 2 years. Fourth document. And this is Daniel's trust, the one with the approval clause, the one you need to access so you can save your house. Her voice came out as a whisper. What do you want? I leaned forward. Here's the part you didn't know. Your mother-in-law updated the trust before she died. She named Whitmore Capital as co-trustee, my firm, which means I have standing to challenge your approval authority. I let that sink in. Then I pulled out the last document. This is the mortgage note on your house. I slid it across. I bought it 3 days ago. I own your debt, Catherine. She stared at it like it was a snake. You can't. I can. And I did. My attorney put a single sheet of paper in front of her. Here's the deal. You will sign a written apology. You will cease all contact with me. You will relinquish your approval clause in Daniel's trust. Or I will foreclose, and I will release every document on this table to your social circle. Catherine's hand trembled as she picked up the pen. She signed. The door opened behind us. Daniel walked in. I texted him the address. He looked at the table, at the documents, at his mother's face. What did you do? She couldn't even look at him. I stood up. I didn't destroy her, Daniel, but I made sure she can't destroy anyone else. I looked at Catherine one last time. You called me street garbage, but I'm the one who just saved your house. Remember that. I walked out. Daniel followed. Catherine sat alone at the table. The apology letter arrived 1 week later. Stiff, formal, legally binding. Catherine admitted to the bribe attempt, the false complaint, the harassment. She agreed to relinquish the trust approval clause, and she promised no further contact. I read it once, filed it, and moved on. 2 weeks after that, I did something Catherine didn't expect. I sold the mortgage note back to her. At cost. No profit, no interest. Just what I paid. My attorney thought I was crazy, but I didn't want her house. I wanted her to stop, and she did. Daniel and I didn't get back together right away. He had a lot to unpack, a lot of therapy to do. He'd spent his whole life under her control, and he hadn't defended me when it mattered. That doesn't just go away. We took 6 months apart. He worked on himself. I worked on my boundaries. And slowly, carefully, we rebuilt. Not the same relationship. A better one. One based on respect. And the understanding that silence isn't peace. At Whitmore, I took the promotion. Senior Vice President. Equity stake. Corner office. And I started something new. A scholarship fund. For first-generation college students from underserved neighborhoods. Kids like me. I named it after my mom. Every year we give out 10 full rides. No strings. Just a chance. The first ceremony was last spring. I stood on that stage and looked at those kids' faces. And I thought about Catherine. About that dinner table. About the word garbage. I never posted the receipts online. I didn't put Catherine on blast. I didn't write a tell-all. The people who mattered knew the truth. And that was enough. Because here's what I learned. Your worth isn't up for debate. It doesn't matter if someone tries to buy you, bury you, or break you. You are not defined by their cruelty. You are defined by how you rise. Not with revenge, not with destruction, but with boundaries, with dignity, with proof. I still have every document, every receipt, every record, not because I'm waiting for round 2, but because my mom was right. Let your work speak. And when they come for you, and they will, you show them exactly who you are. Not with words, with receipts. So here's my question for you. Would you have handled it differently? Would you have sold the mortgage back or kept the leverage? Drop your answer in the comments. I read everyone, and if this story resonated with you, if you believe in standing up with dignity instead of destruction, hit that subscribe button. There's more where this came from. I'll see you in the next one. One last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization for entertainment purposes. It is not legal or financial advice. Always consult a professional for your specific situation. Thank you for watching.